by the Louisiana Restaurant Association in partnership with our valued supporters at DIRECTV for Business. My name is Brittany Ford, and I'm part of the LRA membership team. We're so glad to have you join us today for the second session in our Sports Playbook series, designed to help you maximize your revenue during peak sports seasons. Before we dive in, I just want to go over a few quick housekeeping items. This session is being recorded and will be made available to your colleagues for viewing later via the LRA Snapshot e-newsletter. Please keep your lines muted to avoid background noise. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll address them during and after the session. Now, I'm excited to introduce our presenter, Brian Watkins, Director of National Accounts for DIRECTV for Business. Brian will walk us through how to capitalize on America's favorite sport, football, to pack your venue and boost your bottom line. In this session, you'll learn how NFL Sunday Ticket can transform your restaurant or bar into the go-to spot for game day. He'll share actionable tips for marketing your NFL offerings, creating loyalty programs, and setting up promotions that drive traffic and sales. He'll also highlight how our partnership with DIRECTV for Business provides special pricing and dedicated resources available exclusively to LRA members, giving you the edge you need to win big this football season. With that, I'll turn it over to Brian.
Thanks so much, Brittany, and thank you everyone for joining. It's, as she mentioned, our second session on sports marketing and sports programming to drive traffic to your business through the upcoming football season. So we're excited about that, and it's a good timing for it, so we can get prepared and maybe get you thinking about some things and ways to approach this upcoming season that might be helpful, some things that you may not have looked at before. And what we'll do is just kind of break it up over just talking about NFL in general, just talk about some viewership numbers for NFL. I'm sure that you all know the popularity of it, but some of these statistics around viewership for NFL are pretty impressive. And so we'll go through that, talk through how to watch games each week, because if you've paid attention over the last few years, there's just a lot of different nights that games are on now and different broadcasting partners that have rights to the game. So we'll talk through that landscape a little bit. Then talk through the NFL Sunday Ticket, what exactly it is, as well as Red Zone. And then really how we, as a provider and partner, really help you in marketing not only NFL Sunday Ticket, but other sports programming as well through our MVP marketing program that, again, is really an exclusive program and offering for our national account customers. And then I want to hit on fantasy football a little bit too, something you may not have thought about as a way to drive traffic and revenue to your business. But it's a good time as we're about 60 days out from the start of the season, some things that we can implement in the next, in that time period leading up to the season start. And certainly, as Brittany said, we want to make this conversational. So as you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and we'll all also have time at the end to go through everything as well. So let's get rolling. Let's talk about NFL by the numbers. So the NFL continues to own viewership in terms of top events and viewers throughout a given year. And so there was a slight dip in their ratings last year, very slight. And that was really caused by some of the competitive events like the election season and things like that. So usually the NFL holds about 90 out of 100 of the top viewership opportunities or events throughout a year. And that slipped a little bit to 72 because the Olympics were last year. And also, again, as I mentioned, the election season. So there was, debates and different things like that kind of garnered some of that don't usually happen or happen every 4 years. So between NFL and college football, though, football dominated, but NFL really dominated, again, grabbing 72 of the top 100 spots or events last year. And so, I mean, the biggest thing to take away from that is obviously it puts some real concrete numbers to the fact that NFL is king, and the way that they've kind of structured the schedule over several days or nights, and even into the late part of the season, grabbing some more prime time spots during the postseason, just speaks to the fact that there's just a lot of opportunity to drive guests to your business. Overall viewership, though, 17.5 million viewers per game, which is a huge number, just down slightly, as mentioned, from 17.9 the season before. But all expectations is that to get ramped back up to normal numbers, given, again, some of the events that won't be there this year and the next 3 years. And it's, Prime Video, which we offer through our platform, that's the Thursday night game. It was in its third season last year and coming up into its fourth season, and it averaged 13.2 million viewers, which was an 11% jump year over year. So pretty impressive. And they also gained a wild card game last year, which had 22.1 million viewers. So just an incredible amount of eyes on these games, and it really creates a great opportunity for people to get out and view it with others and create a great environment that I know many of you have already. But out of home viewing definitely boosts NFL ratings, so that's certainly something that they keep an eye on. And 92% of bar and restaurant owners that were interviewed, they said that subscribing to Sunday Ticket was good, very good, or excellent. So just a high amount of satisfaction and approval when that package is deployed in a location. So some numbers there, but as I mentioned, a lot of the content, a lot of the games have sort of staggered into different evenings throughout a given year or throughout a given week. And so kind of from a high level, I wanted to just lay out the typical landscape of a week and how to go watch games. And so on Sunday afternoon, from it's the 12 o'clock, that first slate of games, and then a 3:05, 3:25, sort of the afternoon slate of games. You're going to have two in-market games on Fox and CBS, one of each, typically one in each time bracket. Sometimes Fox doesn't carry a later game. Sometimes CBS that may not carry a later game. That will vary, but you will get in those two time slots a game on each of those channels on average. NFL Sunday Ticket, and I'll explain this more in a subsequent slide, but it is there for those same time slots, 12 and 3:05 or 3:25, to get your out of market game. So all of the other games besides the ones that you're getting in market on Fox and CBS. And that's only during the weeks of the regular season, so weeks 1 through 18. Then Sunday night shifts to NBC, and NBC always has a Sunday evening primetime game. And then Monday night, ESPN, which is also owned by Disney, that owns ABC as well, they'll shift content around, especially early part of the season. It'll sometimes have ABC coverage, ESPN coverage. Sometimes it's simulcast on both. And then as the season goes along, it usually shifts to ESPN alone. And sometimes they'll have a double header on those nights as well. And they'll have one game on one channel and one game on the other. And then finally, Thursday night games are on, as I mentioned, Amazon Prime. So it's the Amazon Thursday Night Football game. We have that available to our customers at no cost through our platform as well. And that kind of rounds out and gives you a pretty good overview of what that weekly schedule looks like. I'm going to share this presentation out with everyone after the call, and certainly Wendy and Brittany and team will do it as well. But I wanted to include this, and I know it's kind of probably hard to see, but when you get this presentation, it will then really lay out for you specifically the Sunday, Monday, Thursday coverage, and then look to the end of the season when Fridays come into play, Saturdays come into play, and the playoff and Super Bowl pictures. So not going to spend, a lot of time here. This is going to be for your reference, but you can just see how many moving parts, especially later in the season, there are for where to find NFL games. So as a stopping point, just so I'm not just spewing through this whole thing, I'll stop at certain points, and this is one of them. Is there any questions around any of that information that you have so far? All right. You guys probably knew a lot of that already, but just wanted to kind of lay that out. So wanted to take a moment just to explain what Sunday Ticket is, what NFL Red Zone is, just in case you weren't familiar with it. So NFL Sunday Ticket is actually residentially, it's broadcast through YouTube, but commercially for bars and restaurants, the rights to it are owned by EverPass Media. And we are a provider through EverPass of the NFL Sunday Ticket through our platform. And so, as I mentioned, NFL Sunday Ticket is going to really be applicable during that 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time slot. And we have all the channels grouped together on channel 9552 through 9567. And really what it is, it's a premium sport package that, again, provides access to all the out-of-market Sunday afternoon NFL games, giving you access to games that aren't broadcast on your local CBS and Fox. So especially with, once, tourism and travel for, guests to the city of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, et cetera, come into play. You've got a lot of fans that are, fans of teams from out of town where they're from, et cetera. So having a full rounded out ability to show games that are going to be relevant to folks is going to keep them in seats and know that they can always go to see you if they want to watch their team because you'll have the game. So it includes all out of market Sunday afternoon games, broadcasts on Fox and CBS and other markets. What it does not include, and it's important to call out, is the nationally televised games, and that's the Monday night game, the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game. Those all are broadcast on the providers that I went through just a little bit ago. And it doesn't include any preseason or playoff games. So it's just the regular season, weeks 1 through 18. And from a pricing perspective, it's based on fire code occupancy. And so we do require, per our agreement with EverPass and the NFL, have to just put documentation to assign a number, and that based on the number of eyeballs essentially that you would have watching those games each week dictates the pricing for you. But we do have the ability to split that cost up over 5 payments. So really what that allows you to do is just break it up over the relevant months of the season and not necessarily have to take that all in one lump sum. So that's NFL Sunday Ticket. NFL Red Zone is a great partner, if you will, to NFL Sunday Ticket. It as well covers all of the games from 12 to 7 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. But what it does is it's nonstop coverage and it's commercial free. But it keeps popping around as teams are getting close to scoring, getting into the red zone, that 20-yard line and in. If there's a big play that happens, et cetera, it's going to shift around. And then sometimes there may be multiple, at its peak at certain points of the season, there could be 11 games going on in that 12 o'clock time slot. Usually it's somewhere between 7 and 8. But again, it can get up as high as 11. And there's a lot of stuff going on. And most times fans aren't able to, pay full attention to all but maybe the game that they want to concentrate on. So this is a great opportunity or a great channel that really gives all the scoring plays that are going on, and it's a one-stop shop. So they'll start to split screens if multiple teams are close to scoring. They talk through fantasy football scoring that's going on, and we'll talk more about fantasy football here in a minute, but the fantasy football stats that people want to keep up with for the players on their teams, et cetera. So it's just a really fun way to kind of show all the games, the relevant plays at once that are going on, because again, there can be so many that are going on at one time. And it's great because the price for that channel for the entire season is only $109. So it's, essentially less than $10 a Sunday to watch it. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a great counterpart or companion to having a full game on the screen. So any questions about NFL Sunday Ticket or NFL Red Zone at all? Yeah, Danielle raised her hand. All right.
What do you have to have Red Zone? Like, what is like the minimum package you have to have Red Zone?
There is no minimum package.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can just add it on.
Okay.
At that 109. Okay.
I don't know why I thought it was different than that. Okay.
When we had the rights to the NFL Sunday Ticket, we packaged Red Zone with. So you had to buy Sunday Ticket to have Red Zone. Now they're completely independent. So that may have been something you had heard in the past.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to lower her hand. Any other questions? All right. So want to talk to you again about, as I mentioned at the beginning, some things that we do that are unique, that are really there to help you and partner with you to help drive traffic and, first of all, awareness that you carry some of this content, but also just help you not only gain folks awareness, but get them to come visit you throughout the season. We think of things in seasonality, right? So if someone shows up, if a guest shows up and they're able to see the game that they want to see, we feel like you've got them for the entire season, right? They know that they can go there, and it's something that's front of mind when they're thinking of watching the game out. Conversely, if you don't have the game that they're looking for, you could lose them for the entire season to some other location that might have that. So that's the way we think about it, and we want to help you gain those viewers for the season. And here's what we do to help you. So from a Sunday Ticket perspective, we do a couple of things. We, first of all, give you, when you order the package, we give you about a value of $300 kit that includes a banner, a very large banner, poster, window clings, so you can put that at the door, coasters, flip schedules that show the schedule for each week, so you'll see every game that's coming on and what time it's coming on. And then there's also in this little thing here, and I'll show it more on the planogram that we kind of have, but there's the TV strip pad that you can use each week. It's a dry erase pad that you can put underneath each TV to show what games on which television. So you'll obviously have the Saints on the main television. We know that. That's a given, right? So, but if you wanted to, for some reason, show the Falcons game, I'm a Falcons fan. We don't have to get into that. It's a tough existence. But if you wanted to have the Falcons game on for some Atlanta fans that were down there, you would have, this pad that you would just say, hey, if you're an Atlanta fan, go here. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, go here, so on and so forth. So it's a really neat thing to have. But again, that marketing kit comes at no cost to you. There's about $300 of merch in there. And I'll tell you, and I'm going to skip ahead, this is kind of what sort of the layout looks like if you want to visualize it. You'd have the flip calendar for the games, either at the bar or on a table. Utilize the coasters for drinks. I mean, I think you get about 100 to 200 of those, which is great. And then you see those pads where you're able to write the games that are on, so that fans can sit in front of the televisions that that you've designated. Now, we know that doesn't always go as planned, so obviously you may have to change, et cetera. But if you can kind of set it up in a way that guests know where to go to watch the game they're interested in, we're just trying to help you with that. In addition to what we provide when you order the package in that Sunday ticket kit, there's additional items that you can purchase, and you get 275 what we call credits through our MVP program or marketing center, which I'll talk about more in just a second. But those credits can be used to purchase things like a sidewalk talker, like you see there on the top left. That's only 20 credits, right? You can buy beer buckets. Those are only 15 credits. So you can really start to stock up when you get all of those credits to use from ordering the package itself. So there's a lot of different things. There's pennants. You can purchase additional coasters if you're liking those. You can purchase additional schedule pads if you're liking those, things of that nature. But it really is just there to help you continue to grow the presence around that fact that this is the premier place to come and watch your team play each and every Sunday. So some pretty neat things there. Any questions around any of the marketing for NFL Sunday Ticket specifically? All right. We'll talk more a little in a little bit here, just in just our general MVP marketing program. We talked about this in the collegiate sports webinar as well. So it's a site, and we can help you get to that site and navigate through there and all of that. But it is something that's unique to us in helping you drive awareness, not only for Sunday Ticket, but collegiate sports and all of our sports programming. And so, as I mentioned, the way that this works is for not only Sunday Ticket, but for, as you sign up, you get sort of a starter pack of credits to utilize for marketing materials. But every time that you order Sunday Ticket, Major League Baseball extra innings, the NHL season pass or NBA season pass and NHL center ice, things like that, any subscription sports that you subscribe to continues to pile credits into your account that you can utilize. And you can do that. It's 275 that you get, as I mentioned, for NFL Sunday Ticket. Some of the other ones are a little less because they cost a little less. But it's there for you to have everything from check inserts to the posters and coasters that I mentioned. But it also has access to customizable items like pitchers, beer pitchers, buckets, pint glasses that you can put your logo on. There's very low minimums for that. So it's just something that's there to help you have a resource, and in one in which you can, utilize it in many ways at no cost. The other thing that we provide at no cost is digital assets. So I put an example of that. So that's like a social media asset that you can utilize, and we send that out to you, or you can just download them from the MVP site. Sorry. But it's there to utilize on social to say, hey, come here, watch every game live every Sunday. And it's in different, aspect ratios. So it can be long, square, taller, etc. So it gives you a lot of ways to utilize that in both your web presence and your social presence. And we also give a strategy playbook. So we help you to think through ideas for marketing, for hosting specials each Sunday, for doing things like repeat visits where, hey, if you're here 2 Sundays, then you get maybe a higher end appetizer. If you're here, so on and so forth. Just ways to think about, drink specials, etc. So again, really intended to help you think through how to gain that viewership for the entire season, and really helping you put some materials behind it to do so. The other aspect that we have built in, and it's kind of a derivative out of our MVP program, but it's sports.directv.com. We talked about this on the collegiate webinar as well, but this is just the place to go each week for you to lay out see what's coming on and what channel it's coming on every week in your area. So again, maybe a little hard to see, but when you go to sports.directv.com, you type in your zip code, you select bars and restaurants, and it's going to customize out for you, for your area, where specifically to go and find games each week. So it's going to get populated each week. You'll be able to click on Thursday night and see what time the Amazon game is coming on, and what channel local, that you'll go to see it. As college football gets fired up, there's games on Thursday night that you'll be able to see where they're at that day as well. Saturday gets crazy with all the college football games, so you'll want to know where those are going to be broadcast in your area. It's just a really great repository for all that. And the thing that I pointed out in our previous webinar as well is, in the case of college football, that schedule flexes each week, right? So certain broadcasters have rights to certain conferences the week prior to, so that's when they make their choice, and that's where they designate their channel. So you won't even be able to see this in many cases until a week before. But for Sunday, for NFL games, you'll be able to see exactly which local channel that'll be on in your area, and then what NFL Sunday Ticket channel that's going to be on, as those get assigned each week as well. So great spot, utilize that, and super helpful. Any questions on that at all? Anything like
I didn't know that you had access to the Amazon Prime games, that Thursday night game. I think that's amazing. That's something even after looking over this, I didn't realize that. That's good to know.
Yeah, we did a long-term deal with Amazon to make that available. And in fact, as I mentioned, it carried to a postseason game last year that they carried on Amazon Prime. So a playoff game, our customers were able to view that as well. And again, at no cost.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. The last thing that I'll make mention of is, when you're a customer of ours and you subscribe to at least the base package that has ESPN in it, which all of you will, we actually include you on our, what we call DIRECTV Sports Bar Finder. And that's an app based for the phone, but customers can also go onto our website. It is web-based as well, to find bars in the area that they're going to. So if customers are traveling, if they are just trying to look around their general area to find, where to watch, this is updated with your information at no cost. And what we do is we list you exclusively. We help patrons find your location on game day, but we also list you out as showing, ESPN. And if you subscribe to some of our, say, collegiate networks like Big Ten and SEC, we notate that you have those channels available there as well. And then if you subscribe to Sunday Ticket or any of our other subscription sports programming, you're able to, customers are able to see that there as well. And then it also kind of links up with Yelp to show ratings, feedback, link out to the information that you have on Yelp. If you have team affiliations, we can notate that as well, and then help you drive traffic to watch parties, all of that information. So that's a lot that we can help you fill on how to maximize that, because I don't feel like customers do that enough. So we want to be a resource to help you utilize that. That is a free service that does get utilized from our customers. It's an easy way for folks to see where they can go watch their teams. So love to help you do that. That's a free add-on for our customers as well. So any questions on marketing support? All right. So shifting gears just a little bit, one of the other items I wanted to hit on is fantasy football. And I think that this is a great way, as I kind of led at the intro, into thinking about how to get customers for the entire season and drive traffic even a little bit before the NFL season starts. And so, for the sake of making sure that everybody knows what fantasy football is. I have this in here. Again, I won't go through it in complete detail, but essentially, folks get together with friends, family, and put together teams that may have, or leagues that may have between 8 and 12 teams. And each owner, so I'm part of my group that's about 10 to 12 of us, that I have my own team. Brian's, I don't know. I forget what my name is. Everybody comes up with funny names and stuff like that. So I've got my team, and what we're going to do is we're going to draft players that we feel are our best in their positions, as best as we can assemble. And my team, once fully drafted, is going to play each week. And each of my players that I draft get points throughout the season or throughout each week. And the team that wins the most games will go head to head each week against those in our league. And the team that wins the most throughout the year wins the league. And so this has become hugely popular. We'll talk through kind of some of the numbers here in a second. But to get the league going each season, customers have to draft. So they do that online a lot of times, don't get me wrong. But the real fun is doing it in person. And it takes a little bit longer when you do it in person. But if you're hosting as a bar or restaurant, people to come and do those drafts in your bar or restaurant, you've got them there for 2 to 3 hours, and that's a really good thing. And then free access to, kind of wigged out there for a second. We have free access to these kits, and one is a marketing kit, which is similar to the marketing kit that you get when you subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket, but it is going to just really highlight draft ready, come here, draft your teams, and it's got coasters like the others, got buttons for your servers, it's got different playbooks, things like that. That's all included. It's a $200 or $300 in value as well. And you also will get kits, league kits or league packs that will contain the names of all the players that you'll be drafting for a season. And then it gives you a board for you to put those player names on as certain teams.
Frozen, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like Brian's having some technical difficulties. I wasn't sure if it was mine or not.
No, it's definitely his.
I will say that this fantasy football marketing is genius to me. Just while we're waiting for Brian, I know my entire family does a big fantasy football league, and we've always done it online. I didn't know that we could, I didn't consider going to a restaurant to do that, but I'm going to suggest it. But my whole family is huge in fantasy football.
We've done it since 1992, the same league, and we've always drafted in restaurant.
I love it. That's a great idea to market that. I mean, I would be there.
We've had a bunch of groups book at Bar Car and do their fantasy draft at our location. Really? They bring in their own easel and the team thing usually.
That's great. That's just that's something I've never seen marketed, and so I would jump on that. They would get me.
Do y'all know how many sets he said you get of the draft board and the players?
I didn't. That was right where he was at when he froze. Okay. He'll hop back on, and we'll have to ask him that, or if that's something that you can also use your points for.
So if you have currently, Brittany, in your restaurant, do you have to switch over to DIRECTV?
That's probably a question for him. I don't know about entirely.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you, Brian. I can't see you.
Okay, coming back.
When you get back settled,
Sorry.
we have a couple questions for you. That was
Good.
a good break for discussion.
Okay, good. All
Well
right.
planned.
I plan to freeze up and
Yeah.
all at the right time, I guess. All
That's all
right.
part of being a Falcons fan, Brian.
Oh, come on.
I'm
Oh,
so
come
glad you took a
on.
dig. I typed it out in the chat. I was going to be like, nobody here is a Falcons fan.
I know. The opposite. All right, sorry. So I'm sharing are you seeing my screen again?
Yes, and we were at
Okay.
the fantasy football. We had
Yeah.
some questions right around there too about the boards and what all is included with that package.
Okay, far away. Who wants to go first?
Danielle, do you
just
want to
wanna
ask your question?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my question, was how many sets do you get of the board and the players?
Okay, yeah, so we can give you up to 20 league kits. So that
Okay.
would allow you for 20 leagues to draft at your location.
Okay,
And if you
awesome.
need more, I could probably try to call in a favor, but 20 usually is about the right amount.
Yeah, that's plenty. Because
Okay.
the weeks that they normally do the draft, remind me if I'm wrong, but it's normally like the last 2 weeks in August are the most popular dates for these parties, right?
They
Like
are.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, they are. You're right. Exactly right. Labor Day weekend is the week before the start. That's a great time because it's also the start of college football. So you can kind of do a lot of different things during that time. But they do tend to wait until the middle to later part of August because people get hurt, players get hurt in preseason, and you don't want to draft a player that gets hurt on your team, before you know that they're out. So timing has a lot to do with that. So you're exactly right on the timing.
Perfect.
Paul, did you have your question answered?
No, but Brian, what I wanted to know is, I currently use Cox in a lot of my restaurants.
Yep.
But I have to switch to DirecTV streaming in order to get the NFL ticket, Sunday ticket.
Correct. I mean, we wouldn't do streaming. We would do,
Satellite?
a satellite install. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Anything else?
I think that was it.
Okay. So that kind of, planogram here to kind of help you think about that as well. Window clings, the table toppers and coasters, etc. One of the things that we, from an execution standpoint, think about this for, fantasy draft. And I was able to hear you guys. So I heard that a lot of, or at least one of you, do a live draft every year as well. And you have some experience with folks doing live drafts at your place as well. So, but I mean, 80% of fantasy participants play fantasy football. So if they're involved in any type of fantasy sport with, there's many others like baseball, et cetera, but 80% of them play fantasy football. And 84% of them have a draft party with an average spend of $653. The $13.2 billion spent last season on fantasy sports was a 20% increase year over year. And it's not just the men, right? 14 million women played fantasy football in 2024. So, and in many ways, in my experience, they're a little more vicious than the guys are when it comes to smack talking and overall competitiveness. That's just
My
been
favorite part.
my way. And coming up with what the loser of the league has to do every year. That's always a fun one too. So it's a huge draw. I think you realize that, the amount of time that it takes to do a live draft is advantageous to doing it live in your facility, your bar or restaurant. And, you offer specials, right? Food, beverage specials for them to host there. And then in many cases you can have, if you draft at our in person for your fantasy league, we'll provide you certain specials as you come back each week throughout the season to watch with us. So again, really helping to gain that viewership for the entire season. So we're here to help. Reach out to us. We can get these. We got to start kind of getting these orders put in. But yes, we want to help you drive traffic before the season and certainly leading up to. Any other questions on fantasy football at all?
No.
All right. So listen, real quick, we did this just as a recap of who National Accounts is. Our team manages all of our larger commercial customers throughout the country. We are heavily involved in the bar and restaurant scene. In fact, we really, a few years ago, started to invest and sponsor at not only the National Restaurant Association level, but are starting to work with state associations, key state associations as well, and are so happy to be working with you all. The main area that our team, or I'd say the main objectives that our team helped to solve for, is to put long-term discounted pricing in place for you. We manage things at a high level, from not only efficient process flow if we need to get you established with service, but certainly have you as one point of contact if you ever have issues. If you want to talk about ideas, things like that, you have us to reach out to. And Eric Henley from our team is on as well. So we have multiple people that you can reach out to just to say, hey, I'm thinking about this, or hey, what are your thoughts? We're here to be as much of a sort of a consultant. Sorry, that's the word I'm thinking of. A consultant to you as much as possible to help you navigate through a lot of this stuff. And in many cases, it's like, hey, they just announced that this event was going to go to this channel or whatever. Can you help me with that? So we're here to help. But the main thing we want to provide is a consistent experience for not only your guests, but also your frontline employees that are operating the televisions and getting games on that your customers want. So we're here to help streamline that. If you have multiple locations, create a brand standard where you have, the same service at your locations and know exactly where to find ESPN, exactly where to find the Amazon Thursday night game, etc. But we can also help you customize by location. So certain content may be relevant here, but it's not relevant over at this other location. So we're here to help walk through that. You'll have our contact information to follow up with, and we certainly look forward to continuing to work with you all and help you drive traffic and sales and all the fun stuff that goes along with the food and beverage industry that you're in. So appreciate the time and certainly here to answer any additional questions for you.
Okay. Looks like Wendy has a question.
I have a comment. I just downloaded the Sports Bar Finder, and it is amazing.
All right.
I did not know there was, there's a lot of places downtown in the French Quarter, some uptown locations, and it has exactly what you said, like what the packages are that I can see there: ESPN, ACCN, Friday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
And then it is tied to Yelp. It tells me how far it is from my house and the hours of operation and all of it. So I think that's pretty neat. We'll start pushing this out on our socials for people
you were
to
totally fact checking me, right? I see it.
We were texting. I'm totally going to use it for Bengals games. I was saying I'm going to download that because they're not often broadcast in my area, so I love that option.
All right. Yeah. No, that's great. I love that you looked it up. And the thing that I'll say is it is a pretty cool way to just kind of highlight exactly what content, like, and the other thing that you brought up is some other exclusive content that we have. You mentioned Friday Night Baseball. So Apple has a doubleheader throughout the Major League Baseball season where, 2 games every Friday night that is only shown through Apple. And we're the only provider that actually has a deal with Apple to have that available on our platform. So that's a great call out. ESPN Plus for business, some of the smaller tier games, and we talked about this more with college football, Smaller tier games can sometimes get pushed over there to the ESPN Plus. We are the only provider of ESPN Plus for business. And then we also have access to MLS Season Pass. So soccer fans out there, which is becoming more and more popular, and the World Cup is next year. We are able to provide all of the MLS games throughout the season, and that's exclusive to us on a commercial basis as well. So a few more plugs there for my content.
And the UFC.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
see that on somebody's.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Are there any other questions or any other comments? All right. Well, thank you to Brian and to you all for joining us today for part 2 of the Sports Playbook webinar series that's been presented in partnership with DIRECTV for Business. We hope you found today's session helpful as you plan to make the most out of football season and drive game day revenue in your restaurant or bar. Before we wrap up, I want to personally invite you to connect with us in person at the upcoming LRA Showcase, which is happening August 2nd and 3rd in New Orleans at the Convention Center. DIRECTV for Business will be on site with us in the LRA booth, which is number 517. So if you're interested in learning more about the tools and programming they offer, as well as how LRA membership can further benefit your restaurant, come by and say hello. We'll also have a special guest in our booth, a real alligator that you can hold, along with a free 360-degree video that you can share on your social media. So if you haven't registered yet,
in your booth?
what was that?
So what's Reggio doing in your booth?
Probably holding the alligator. So, and a microphone. If you haven't registered yet for the LRA Showcase, remember that LRA members receive 4 free passes, and you can email us at lramembership@lra.org and we'll get you set up. So thank you again for your time and interest today. We're proud to offer resources like this to help you grow your revenue this fall and beyond, and we'll see you at the Showcase.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brian.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Bye now.